All right, folks, I've had it. The donkeys are out, the elephants are out. They had their chance and they spent it arguing over who invented potholes. Make room for the possums. We're taking over. No more filibusters, no more fancy ties, no more debates where nobody gets tackled. I'm Billy Cotto and I'm running for president in 2028. My platform, just one plank. Don't be stupid. My slogan, if it ain't broke, it ain't in Possum County. Let's do this. All right, folks, there you have it. I'll see you at the polls. I'm Billy Clyde Tuggle, and I'm out like a possum in the headlights. All right, there you have it. There's nobody on yet, so we'll just look for something here. What I got over here. This is more AI junk. I think she's AI. I didn't watch it enough to see, but there's some fake scratch. You see this right here, right here. That's fake scratches. I think she's AI. You want to watch the hands. I saw one video. It looked so real until she crossed her hands like that, but then the fingers were interlaced like the top of an apple pie. You could tell it wasn't real. All right, folks, I've had it. The donkeys are
Point, it's clear that every effort is being made from family and law enforcement to get Nancy home. But there were four things that stuck out to the former agent who spoke to me after he watched Savannah's message.
I can break a little news on your program here that I spoke with a detective earlier today, and
he might be real.
This investigation will essentially be moved.
But look at the fake scratches. Jesus. Dude,
for detectives.
Hold on.
To the town.
Do yourself a favor. I don't care if you watch Billy Clyde and Possum County and all this stupid shit over here. Do yourself a favor. Find a real person and watch that person. Now, most of the real people, they're just watching a newscast and they're just reusing something because they're in their house just like I am, just sitting here, something to do one night. But stop watching the AI shit where the script is fake, the voice is fake, the pictures are fake. I watched one the other night. They're talking about whatever, and they got two or three people walking into a boardroom and sitting down, and that had nothing to do with the topic at hand. It's just file footage they put in there. They make these templates. They hit go. They change the topic. They hit the button. They make a whole nother 20-minute video with a couple mouse clicks, and you're watching that shit, and they got 2,000 likes and 4,000 views and 81,000 views and 2,000 subscribers, and it's junk. Find a person. I don't care if it's me or somebody else. Find a person that has some sort of interesting thing that you like and watch them. Like and subscribe and get and comment and interact once in a while. Stop watching the AI bullshit. Okay, that's my rant.
Task force, the FBI here in Tucson, and then the rest of the detectives have been ordered to essentially.
We've all acknowledged there's a ransom note. It appears to me that the investigators aren't 100% convinced it's legit.
Guys, you're not ready for this. Something just happened in the Nancy Guthrie investigation that nobody saw coming. For weeks, the public has watched this case spiral through theories, speculation, and unanswered questions. But now, new developments are raising the
It's just more AI reading shit.
About Nancy Guthrie's disappearance might only be part of the story. Some insiders are quietly asking a disturbing question. What if the disappearance wasn't exactly what it seemed? Could parts of this case have been staged or manipulated? According to sources close to the investigation, federal agents have begun examining new evidence, including surveillance data.
Okay, according to sources, blah, 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 and yet you haven't heard of it. What does that mean? That means bullshit.
Communications records and digital activity connected to the night Nancy Guthrie vanished. And what they are finding is forcing investigators to reconsider the narrative. Because some details simply don't add up. Hidden surveillance, cryptic messages, and evidence that may have been altered or deliberately misinterpreted. Even more troubling, some investigators believe people close to Nancy may know more than they initially revealed. Then there is the issue of the cryptocurrency wallets tied to the alleged ransom demands. Millions of dollars were supposedly requested, yet the wallets remain untouched. Deadlines passed, no transactions happened, just silence. And in ransom cases, that kind of silence is unusual. If this wasn't purely about money, then what was the real motive? People across the country are asking the same question. Who wanted investigators and the public looking in the
Damn
wrong
chat box
direction?
ain't working.
And perhaps
Damn
the most
thing.
unsettling question of all, what happens when the full truth finally comes out? Because the deeper this investigation goes, the darker the picture becomes. Nancy Guthrie was 84 years old, a wealthy philanthropist, deeply connected and respected in business and charity circles, and then suddenly she was gone, vanished from her home in the quiet Catalina foothills outside Tucson. According to people familiar with the situation, tensions inside the family had already been rising in the weeks before her disappearance. One source claimed the atmosphere in the household had become tense and unpredictable, with arguments, financial concerns, and unanswered questions. Something was brewing, the insider reportedly said, and nobody knew how it would end. Think about the situation. An elderly woman from a high-profile family, a luxury estate equipped with cameras and monitoring systems, and suddenly that same home becomes the center of one of the most shocking mysteries in the country. January 31st arrives, evening falls, and Nancy's routine appears normal. Her medical monitoring app is active. Lights inside the house turn on automatically. Her usual cup of tea sits in the kitchen. Everything looks ordinary until suddenly it isn't. The monitoring device disconnects, communication stops, and from that moment forward, nothing about that night makes sense. Family members reportedly attempted to contact her, but there was no answer, no warning,
There we go.
just silence. Investigators later began discovering strange details. Sources say cryptic messages had been appearing on Nancy's devices in the weeks before she vanished. Calls from unknown numbers, messages that were later deleted, and even reports of a suspicious man seen near the property days earlier. But the mystery doesn't stop there, because this disappearance didn't occur in isolation. The Guthrie family has long been connected to powerful corporate and philanthropic networks, major financial projects, charity foundations, and real estate holdings. And when investigators began examining those connections, new questions emerged. Then there is the surveillance footage showing a masked figure moving around the property. Gloves, slow, deliberate movements, someone who seemed to know exactly where they were going. Yet some investigators who reviewed the footage say something about it feels unusual. One retired federal agent reportedly described it this way. It looked controlled, almost too controlled, like someone wanted us to see it. Even the ransom demands raise questions. Cryptocurrency wallets, millions requested, yet no money ever moved. In a typical kidnapping case, ransom demands escalate, pressure increases, communication continues. But here, nothing happened, just silence. Which is why some investigators believe the ransom may have been intended as a distraction rather than a genuine demand. Meanwhile, the public reaction was explosive. Candlelight vigils were held in Tucson, national media outlets covered every development, and families across the country watched the story unfold with growing concern. Behind the scenes, tensions inside the investigation were rising, and then another unusual detail surfaced. 2 unidentified DNA profiles were reportedly discovered at the scene. Neither matched Nancy, and neither matched each other. Forensic experts say that kind of result can complicate an investigation dramatically because it raises the possibility of multiple unknown individuals being present. Was Nancy targeted by strangers, or did someone with inside knowledge help orchestrate what happened? Investigators are still trying to answer that question, and when they began digging deeper into Nancy's business connections, charity organizations, and financial networks, they discovered a web of relationships that extended far beyond her immediate circle. In other words, Nancy Guthrie wasn't just a private citizen. She was connected, and in cases like this, connections matter. Social media reacted instantly. Theories exploded online. Some people defended the family while others questioned the official narrative. One viral post asked, "If this was a kidnapping, why hasn't the ransom been paid?" Another user wrote, "Someone wanted us focused on the money while something else was happening." Meanwhile, investigators acknowledged another troubling fact. There is still no confirmed proof of life, no verified calls, no confirmed sightings, just the masked figure, the empty crypto wallets, and a growing list of unanswered questions. Which brings us back to the biggest mystery of all. What really happened inside that house the night Nancy Guthrie disappeared? Was this a carefully planned abduction, a targeted operation, or something even more complicated involving people Nancy trusted? Because the deeper investigators dig, the more possibilities they uncover. And if one thing is clear, it's this. This case is far from solved. If anything, it's just beginning. So now the question is yours. Was Nancy Guthrie the victim of a calculated kidnapping? Or is there something else happening behind the scenes that investigators haven't revealed yet? Tell me what you think in the comments and stay tuned, because in cases like this, the moment the evidence finally speaks, everything changes.
And we'll see. I believe that we have Jonathan back with us. Jonathan Hunt, he's in Tucson on the ground. Can you tell us anything about this message?
All we know at this point, Jillian, is the confirmation from the sheriff's office here, Pima County Sheriff's, which we're at right now, is that they are, quote, aware of this message and they are actively looking into it. They're trying to establish its authenticity. A lot of questions, obviously. One, and a very important question will be, is this message...
Had one user pop in while I wasn't paying attention. I didn't say anything, and he's gone. He, she, it, they.
Was sent to TMZ and 2 local TV stations. Is it from the same person? And they'll be able to look at the content of this message and look at things like the writing style, etc. See if there are similarities. They'll obviously be looking at the email address, although that may have been changed if this person or persons are trying to cover their tracks, obviously. So there's a lot they'll want to look at. Now, what we and the Guthrie family certainly would hope is that this new message, if it is authentic, is a response to those video pleas we've seen from the Guthrie siblings, Savannah, Annie, and Cameron, for the kidnapper or kidnappers to get in touch directly with them and to send proof of life, to show them, the family, that Nancy Guthrie is alive, that these people or this person has Nancy Guthrie, and that they are genuinely those who have her right now and can therefore return her. So they'll be looking at this very closely now. Given that the
Nothing new.
has put out this
Nothing new at all.
they are aware of this message. We would expect more detail from them soon, but this is clearly potentially, and I have to emphasize potentially there, a very significant development if it is a response to those pleas to show proof of life, Jillian.
Jonathan, it's Kennedy. I have a quick question. What form are these messages taking? Are they...
Where's Kennedy? There she is.
Are they electronic? What do we know about them?
All the messages received so far, and remember, they have not been completely 100% authenticated up until now, but the 3 ransom notes were all sent via email, and it was an untraceable email address, or at least untraceable in the early going. The FBI obviously has a lot they can bring to bear here. They may be able to track down the source, but on the initial look at that, it was an untraceable email. We assume that this new message is also sent by email. We don't have that confirmed by the sheriff yet, but the very fact, I think, that they are putting out an announcement saying we are aware of a message, if it came in and was clearly another evil kind of hoax message, I don't think they would have bothered to put out a notice.
There was a guy earlier said that Monday there will be a new task force put together. Now, I don't know if he knew what he was talking about or not, or it's just, he looked like a real person. He didn't look like AI. I've been ranting about AI all week long. If you're sitting there watching there's no real person. The videos and pictures are just file footage. It has nothing to do with what they're talking about. And you got an AI guy reading it. Do yourself a favor, find some real person that's trying to do something fun or interesting or entertaining, and watch a real person. I don't care if it's me. Go find somebody else. Don't watch the AI bots. If we all get rid of them and we stop watching them, YouTube's already going to get rid of what they call the AI slop. Stop watching that shit, for fuck's sake.
To all of us saying we are aware of a new message. So it would seem there are maybe some indications that this is from the same person or persons, and clearly they are looking at it very seriously. As they've said all along, we take every single lead very seriously, and this one, once again, Kennedy, really is potentially a very serious lead if it is a response to those heartfelt pleas from the Guthrie family for the kidnapper or kidnappers to show them that Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, is alive. Kennedy?
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan. Well, all you wanted was proof of life. And we don't know if this message was proof of life, but this is the best development that we've had so far. And it gives you hope that Miss Guthrie might be alive, because as of today, we had no communication aside from these other emails, which only said we will not be communicating at all. There's deadline 1, deadline 2. That's it. Send the money. So this is a huge development.
Can you imagine having to get on TV and try to make a living making shit up? They get the littlest thing and then they try to make a story out of it. I feel, I can imagine. I'm sitting here, I don't know what to do. I'm just sitting here trying to have fun, mess around. Nobody's even listening. One they, he, she, it popped in right about 10:30 and quickly left. Probably a minute or two. Let's see, we can even look. Yeah, it doesn't tell me right there. Anyway, let's get back to Jesse. Let him ramble.
They were in the position up until now that they were going to have to send 20, 40, 60, $100 million to an account without any guarantee they were
$100 million.
And so now you're actually in a negotiation if this thing is legitimate.
I don't know.
So for the Guthrie family,
$100 million. I don't know.
a huge relief. It's not over yet, but it does give a glimmer of hope. And that's kind of all you're riding on right now, is just hope and adrenaline. Hopefully, we're all praying.
But at the same time, Jesse, if you're the person who's taken her and you have all these millions of dollars on the line right now, why not just shoot a quick video? Why leave it up?
Because you're going to shoot a video and then it's going to expose intelligence that can be harvested by the FBI. And you don't
Harvested this.
I assume that can.
Come on now, Jesse.
To wheel and deal and make the Guthrie family send the money. Because really, this is all just about money and life. And this is high stakes. And Harvey made a great point. It doesn't necessarily seem like the kidnappers targeted Savannah Guthrie in particular. You look at her, she's in New York.
Yeah.
Her mom is, she's in
You never know that unless you catch them. But
the timing of we're going to get this woman back within a certain time period, and the fact that they sent these letters.
all right. Aside from the fame of her daughter and the assets that her family may inherit, what would be the motive of anybody harming her in any way? Unless they could get money, or a revenge thing, ransom, just some nut. You know how the guy shot John Lennon just because he's a nut. It's something to do with Jodie Foster too. I can't remember. It's too long ago. That's 50, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, whatever. I don't remember. But she's gone. We know that. Now, what could possibly be the motive? Ransom? That seems fake. If the family just wanted to inherit what she had, I think they could have done something a little cleaner than this. And if it's just totally random, somebody's going to break in there, and you don't typically take people. You might harm them. Even in the worst case scenario, you know what kind of harm I mean. But try to think of the last time somebody other than a child was kidnapped. People don't get kidnapped every day. That's what's weird about this. It doesn't make any sense. If you think the ransom notes and all that are fake, or something to draw the attention away, then what is the motive? If it's not ransom, not revenge, not inheritance, what and who? There's no theory that makes sense.
To local Tucson stations, NTMZ in LA, shows you that this might have a Tucson, Arizona kind of location. And so that's kind of where everything's focused on right now. And I don't know. I think the sheriff really needed this break.
To that point, you got some.
Here's the thing. They may have evidence from that car, the other daughter's car, Annie's car, that they're not telling us about. You know, you go to reach up and do shit and it's backwards. You got to get used to that. Backwards bullshit. There may be evidence from that car. They kept it for a long time. And I think they just gave it back, but I could be wrong about that. There could be evidence from the car. If they got evidence from the glove, they're not telling us. But it's not their job to tell you everything if it's going to compromise the case. So the FBI may have all kinds of stuff that they're not letting out yet. Who knows? Tuesday, they may arrest that son-in-law. You don't know that. We don't know that. Now, I'm not saying that just because he looks like a terrorist. That's different. But what makes sense? I wish there was somebody. Nobody's watching. I'm talking to myself over here.
Well, I think there's something obvious that no one mentions, is that it makes it really hard to pay a ransom when you make it that public. That's why I think this is a red herring. You know, it's like if I kidnap Jesse Waters, I'm not going to send a message to Fox. I'm going to send it to your parents and go like, look, we're going to handle this. I wouldn't go. I mean, why would you send it to TMZ? Why would you send it to if you really wanted the money? There would have been a much easier way to do it than make it public. The only reason why you make it public is because it's a distraction and it's a red herring.
I did hear one analyst saying that they maybe, because of the way they sent those messages to other news outlets and entertainment outlets in the U.S., like maybe the kidnappers are foreigners who are not as familiar with the landscape.
They said the language within, and they could have used AI to write the notes, but they said that Harvey said this on Hannity, that the language is impeccable, and he said it's layered, and which makes you think that there is a logical progression within the note itself, and also it's not short.
Real quick, Jonathan Hunt, I understand, is getting some more information about who is receiving this.
We got nobody, folks. Come on now.
What can you tell us, Jonathan?
Yeah, Jillian, one of the local.
All right, folks, I've had it. The donkeys are out. The elephants are out. They had their chance, and they spent it arguing over who invented potholes. Make room for the possums. We're taking over. No more filibusters. No more fancy ties. No more debates where nobody gets tackled. I'm Billy Costello, and I'm running for president in 2028. My platform, just one plank. Don't be stupid. My slogan, if it ain't broke, It ain't in Possum County. Let's do this. All right, folks, there you have it. I'll see you at the polls. I'm Billy Clyde Tuggle, and I'm out like a possum in the headlights.
The TV stations here has confirmed that they were one of those, at least, that received this new message. CBS 13 News, KOLD. Now, interestingly, they were one of the stations locally that received those original ransom notes now, and they appear to have got this follow-up note. And to Greg's point about why would you send these to TV stations? Why would you send it to TMZ? You look at this, it could be something as simple as these people or this person does not have Savannah Guthrie's email address. Celebrity figure, she might be very careful about who can contact her. So it might be something as simple as that.
I don't know what the hell happened to the volume there.
You send it to two of the local TV stations, the original ransom notes, and to a network that is seen nationally like TMZ. That might explain it. There's a million other theories out there as to why that might have been done. But the bottom line is that the Guthrie family obviously saw and heard those emails.
Breaker 19.
The FBI has said they are taking them seriously, those original ransom notes. And now we wait to get more detail on what this second message may be. And again, the first task for the FBI is to try to check its authenticity, the first task for the FBI and the Sheriff's Department, and to see if they genuinely believe that this follow-up message is from the same people that sent those original ransom notes. If it is, perhaps there is a sliver of hope that we can all cling to tonight, that they are responding to the pleas for proof of life. Perhaps they are. And this is a huge perhaps, obviously, but looking for a silver lining in this awful, awful week for the Guthrie family. Perhaps this is this new message offering proof of life. We can't jump to any conclusions about its authenticity, about where it came from, about who may have Nancy Guthrie, where Nancy Guthrie and her kidnapper or kidnappers might be. But it clearly is potentially a significant step forward. And just going back to what you guys were also talking about, Harvey's interesting comment about the radius here. Remember, that radius, as he put it, is tens of millions of square miles. It doesn't narrow it down much, guys.
Jonathan, so just to crystallize this for viewers, there were three stations that received this ransom note. You had KGUN, KOLD, you had TMZ. The person who received this message was one of the two local stations. TMZ and the other local station have yet to confirm whether they received the same message. Strikes me as there being two options. Number one, this could be an imposter, and we know there was a fake ransom note previously, and that person's being prosecuted. Could be an imposter. But number two, this could be the proof of life that the family has sought, and proof of life can come in the form of a video, a word that the family had together, a detail that is privately known, not publicly known. And finally, I would just say, they said the floodlight was part of the way that they authenticated the first ransom note. Still unclear if it's an actual ransom, but the floodlight was on the outside of the house. We have a picture of it. So this could be a private detail that maybe only the family would know. All conjecture at this point.
Yeah, I just want to correct one thing you said. The floodlight was, you said the floodlight was how they authenticated the original note. They have not 100% authenticated the note. No, they have not 100% authenticated at all.
Fuck
they
off
are
with
still
the
looking
dinghy.
into whether those original ransom notes are actually real from somebody who may actually have Nancy Guthrie. But this follow-up note is a hopeful sign that perhaps they are about to get proof of life. If all of this is real, there is still a chance that all of this is from some evil hoaxer. But we hope it's real. We hope it's proof of life.
All right, Jonathan, we're going to leave it there for now. Thank you for jumping in with us. We will continue to monitor.
Well, I missed some of exactly what was in that note. If they were talking about that completely, I didn't Here
At this point, it's
specifics.
clear that every effort is being made from family and law enforcement to get Nancy home. But there were four
Here's that
things
AI.
stuck out to the
Pretty
former
sure
agent
that's
who
AI.
spoke to me after he
Not
watched
positive.
Savannah's message.
I can break a little news on your program.
You got the
here
fake
that,
scratches
I
and
spoke with a
shit going on there, but
detective earlier today,
I don't know
and
if the
effective
girl is
Monday,
AI or
this
not. They're
investigation
getting
will
to the
essentially
point
be
where
moved to the
sometimes you
task
can't
force
tell. You gotta
entirely. We will be
watch the
sending,
fingers and
I believe,
stuff.
4 detectives and a sergeant to the task force, the FBI, here in Tucson. And then the rest of the detectives have been ordered to essentially.
We've all acknowledged there's a ransom note. It appears to me that the
Records and digital sources close to the investigation, federal agents have begun examining new evidence, including surveillance data, communications records, and digital activity connected to the night Nancy Guthrie vanished. And what they are finding is forcing investigators to reconsider the narrative.
Fodder.
Tied to the alleged
Bullshit.
in the wrong direction. She was
Made
gone,
up bullshit.
vanished from her home in the quiet it would end. Think about the situation. And from that moment forward, nothing about that
Who's
night
that?
makes sense. Family member communication stops, and from that moment forward, nothing about that night makes sense. Family members reportedly attempted to contact her, but there was
You see what I mean, folks? That girl in the jumpsuit, that's probably just a stock photo. And then it showed a rooftop of like a convention center or some kind of outbuilding at a fair or some kind of gathering. That's nothing to do with anything. It's just shit. You think this guy's going to have a job when this is all over with over here?
no answer, no warning, just silence. Investigators later began discovering strange details. Sources say cryptic messages had been appearing on Nancy's devices in the weeks before she vanished, calls from unknown numbers, messages that were later deleted, and even reports of a suspicious man seen near the property days earlier.
Well, there
But
you
the
go.
mystery
Arrest
doesn't
him.
Stop there, because this disappearance didn't occur in isolation. The Guthrie family has long been connected to powerful corporate and philanthropic networks, major financial projects, charity foundations, and real estate holdings. And when investigators began examining those connections, new questions emerged. Then there is the surveillance footage showing a masked figure moving around the property.
New questions emerged. What questions? Tell us something. That's a kid in China writing stuff out, hitting send. Man, AI is useful where it's useful, but the AI floods where there's not even a real person involved with the channel. That's terrible. You don't want the world to go that way. Don't watch those.
Gloves, slow delivery.
If everybody swipes away from that stuff, YouTube will get the hint and clean it up. You think if you're a major corporation and you want to pay advertisements to some of those stupid videos, I don't know, but some of you just lap it up and you go, oh, you know what I saw? Yeah, I saw where the bear picked up a kitten and took it in the house and gave it to the lady. Yeah, I bet that really happened.
Movements, someone who seemed to know exactly where they were going. Yet some investigators who reviewed the footage say something about it feels unusual. One retired federal agent reportedly described it this way. It looked controlled, almost too controlled, like someone wanted
40 tons of steel and a heart full of grit. Whiskey in his veins, he don't give a shit. He's a truck driving son of a bitch, burning rubber till the morning comes. Rolling fast, raising hell, one step ahead of a county jail. Billy Clyde Tuggle don't back down. He takes the long way through a one-horse town. He don't need no map, don't need no plan. He'll drive through fire just to stick it to the man. Curse, steam into Spain, and show you ain't standing in a tank. We'll drive to the rise of home, unless you're then bust in a storm. snake. Make sure you ain't standing in his lane. Billy Clyde trouble rides alone, a legend written in dust and in stone. 40 tons of steel and a heart full of grit. Whiskey in his veins, he don't give a shit. He's a truck driving son of a bitch, burning rubber till the morning comes. Rolling fast, raising hell, one step ahead of a county jail. Billy Clyde Tuggle don't back down. He takes the long way through a one-horse town. He don't need no map, don't need no plan. He'll drive through fire just to stick it to the man. Steam into Spain and show you ain't standing in a tank. We'll drive to the rise of home, unless you're living in burst and a stone.
All right, Billy Clyde is back, and there's no one on here. We're going to sign off, and we're going to try vertical. Good night.